Welcome to the BettingPros PGA podcast. I'm Pat Fitzmaurice here with Bo McBrayer. The 3-week FedEx Cup playoffs begin on Thursday with the FedEx St. Jude Classic, and we are going to preview that tournament from a betting perspective. But first, let's quickly recap the final event of the PGA Tour regular season, the Wyndham Championship. And I can promise you a very quick recap because this one was a blowout. Cameron Young got his first PGA Tour victory, winning by 6 shots. He opened with rounds of 63 and 62. Shot a 65 on Saturday to carry a big lead into the final round. And then he birdied 5 straight holes on the front 9 to pretty much eliminate any drama. Young led by 9 shots at one point. He put on cruise control on the back 9. He finished 22 under par. Mac Meisner won the race for second place. He was 16 under. Mark Hubbard and Alex Noren tied for third at 15 under. Cameron Young became the 1,000th different player to ever win a PGA Tour event. That's kind of a fun stat. Bo, it's kind of hard to believe the 28-year-old Young had not won before. He's a very good player who's contended in a bunch of different events in recent years, and he's shown up in majors. Cam Young was runner-up at the Open Championship in 2022. He's had a couple of top 10s at the Open, also at the Masters, a couple of top 10s, finished 4th at this year's U.S. Open, and he's had a top 5 finish at the PGA Championship. And now Cameron Young is ranked 21st in the world. Your thoughts on Cameron Young's victory at the Wyndham?
It was really impressive. He's got all the game. I think the mental side of it has been eluding him for a while, but it's always been the short game and the putting that has really taken him down a notch or two. And he's always kind of scored well on Sundays in all those runner-up finishes that he's had. So it's no wonder that he finally puts together a great round of ball striking. He gained a ton of strokes off the tee and on approach, but he gained tons of strokes on putting as well. And it was mainly because he was hitting it so close on approach. I think the longest putt he made all week was 35 feet, which means he was sticking it in there real close and making the putts that mattered. He made a lot of birdies, 63, 62 to start the tournament. Pretty much put everybody on notice that they're going to have to score like crazy to keep up with him. But that course was playing tough. Sedgefield was playing pretty fast. It was playing difficult with all the undulation on the greens. The moisture didn't really slow the course down as much as made the rough even more penal. Cam Young, all the talent in the world. I kind of think that it was meant to be where his first win was going to make him the 1,000th unique champion on the PGA Tour. That's really cool. And he's still really young. Obviously growing up as a son of a PGA teaching professional, kind of like Justin Thomas, there's a lot of expectations growing up for that person to become a professional golfer and one that wins. And where we've seen JT win a lot over the years, Cameron Young has been oh so close. And now the door just got blown off. And with how good he is playing now, we're definitely looking at him in his home state, possibly making that Ryder Cup team at Bethpage Black in next month. That's going to be really interesting to see if he can parlay this success at the Wyndham into the playoffs to get into that team, because that would be really cool. Team USA needs all the help it can get against Europe, even at home this year. Cam Young being the New Yorker, that'll be huge for the Team USA if he can make it.
Yeah, let's see if Young can keep the momentum going into the FedEx Cup playoffs, and we will get to the betting preview for the first event of the playoffs, the FedEx Cup St. Jude Championship, in just a moment. But first,
download the free BettingPros app for iOS and Android. With Sportsbook Sync, you can automatically track your bets across all major sportsbooks in one spot. Easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, including game picks, props, and parlays. Create your own custom betting systems to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. Get your 7-day free trial of BettingPros Premium by downloading the app at bettingpros.com/apps using code JUICE and activating your trial on the upgrade screen.
The top 70 FedEx Cup point earners have qualified for the playoffs. That number is down from last year when the top 100 qualified. And the top 50 finishers this week will advance to next week's BMW Championship. From there, the top 30 advance to the Tour Championship. And these events have some big purses, especially the season-ending Tour Championship with its top prize of $10 million. The FedEx St. Jude Championship is a no-cut event. Everyone plays 72 holes. The tournament will be played at TPC Southwind in Memphis, Tennessee. It's a par 70 course measuring 7,288 yards. This course was built on a former dairy farm, Bo.
Oh, that's right up your alley.
Scenery includes a couple of grain silos and a windmill. No word on whether they have good cheese curds on site, but the greatest defense at TPC Southwind are water and thick rough. Water comes into play on quite a few holes. It's especially prominent on the 11th, 14th, and 18th holes. The 11th is a par 3 with an island green, and it's listed at 168 yards, which makes it about 30 yards longer than the island hole at TPC Sawgrass. The 14th is a 205-yard par 3 with water in front of the green and to the right of the green. The 18th is a 453-yard par 4 with water running down the left side of the hole. Miss the zoysia grass fairways, and you'll often find thick, chewy Bermuda rough. And TPC Southwind has tight fairways. This course also has small, firm Bermuda greens. The average approach shot at TPC Southwind is from right around 160 yards out. That's 5 or 6 yards closer than the average approach distance on tour. Hideki Matsuyama is the defending champ. He finished 17 under par last year, 2 shots better than Xander Schauffele and Viktor Hovland. Lucas Glover won here in 2023, finishing 15 under par and beating Patrick Cantley in a playoff. Will Zalatoris was minus 15 and beat Sepp Straka in a playoff in 2022. And Tony Finau beat Cam Smith in a playoff to win here in 2021. Seems like an event that draws a lot of playoff finishes. Both of those guys, Finau and Cam Smith, were 20 under par in 2021. The weather forecast this week calls for hot, sticky conditions. No surprise for Memphis this time of year. High temperatures in the mid-90s all 4 days with mostly sunny conditions. There's no rain in the forecast, and the wind should be light throughout the tournament. Bo, what's it going to take to win a TPC Southwind?
Accuracy and consistency, and if you are off, you have to be able to make a par, avoid bogey, avoid double bogey avoidance here is huge because these greens, not only are they small and firm, but they putt fast, and fast Bermuda is tricky. It throws a whole monkey wrench into a lot of stat models unless you filter for fast Bermuda greens, because this course is right around tour average for length, around just over 7,200 yards. It's really narrow, it's really tight, and if you miss your spots, you're not going to have a good time making par. Very penal rough off the fairways if you miss, and then if you miss the greens, you better be able to scramble and get up and down because this, it's just everything about this course is tricky, but good shots are rewarded here. So if you're somebody at the top of this leaderboard, or if you're somebody who's trying to sneak into that top 50 to play the BMW next week, it's going to have to be hitting quality shots all 4 days, no blow up holes, because this course will take away what you give it, and that's why you see good winning scores between 12 and 18 under par, and sometimes an outlier at 20 under par, but judging by hot and humid conditions, it's going to be a grind for a lot of these guys, but that doesn't mean that there's not going to be a few guys that go pretty low. If you have good shots going in, there's going to be some good scores out there for top 70. I think it's a really great opening salvo to the playoffs.
It is indeed, and if you hit fairways and greens, you're going to have birdie looks.
Yes.
So you will get penalized by the rough and the water, but there are birdie opportunities here for sure, and we will get to the odds in just a moment, right after a word about our sponsor, Novig.
Are you looking for a smarter way to play? There's a new sports trading platform that's changing the game. It's called Novig. It's legal in most states, including Georgia, California, and Texas. It's peer-to-peer, which means you're competing against other users and not the house. You can often get better lines than traditional books. You can set your own lines if you want to, which gives you control most sportsbooks just don't offer. There are no commissions or hidden fees, seriously. It uses a coin deposit system, but it is real money. and you can use code DailyJuice for 50% off your first coin purchase up to $25. Check it out now at bettingpros.com/juice. That's bettingpros.com/juice. And Pat, our colleague Mike Mayer is on it every day. He's a Novig fanatic, always dropping screenshots and pics in the Discord. If you have questions, Mike Mayer is very happy to help.
Let's take a look at the odds for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. All odds are courtesy of DraftKings as of Monday afternoon. Scottie Scheffler opens as an overwhelming favorite at plus 280. No surprise there. Rory McIlroy skipping this one. He's the only player in the top 70 to skip it out. That's okay. He gets a free pass to the BMW Championship next week. Xander Schauffele is plus 1,600. Justin Thomas plus 2,200. Tommy Fleetwood plus 2,500. Ludvig Aberg plus 2,800. At plus 3,000 are Matt Fitzpatrick, Viktor Hovland, Russell Henley, Patrick Cantley, and Colin Morikawa. Cameron Young, Sam Burns, and Corey Connors are plus 3,500. And at plus 4,000, we have Ben Griffin, Keegan Bradley, Hideki Matsuyama, Sepp Straka, and Harris English. Who is worth considering from this group, Bo? And what are we doing with Scottie at such short odds?
Well, it's been a few weeks, but we're going to do the live Scottie. The live Scottie is going to be really fun to play this week because if he gets off to a slower start, which he hasn't played this course particularly well because faster Bermuda greens, when you hit that filter on the model, Scottie Scheffler goes down to the very bottom of this field in putting. It's quite remarkable. He's having the best putting season of his entire career, and it still shows struggling on Bermuda greens that are running faster than 12 on the stimp. These greens will be running 12 on the stimp. They're Bermuda, they're tricky, they're undulating, and they're fast. They're so fast. And I think that Scottie still has everything else to win here, but maybe he gets off to a slow start, and maybe we get some odds that slip to better than 5-1 or even 10-1. That's when I'm going to be betting on Scottie Scheffler. Don't give up on him. Just don't bet him at plus 280. You're not going to get enough bang for your buck to make it worth watching him annihilate this field. I'm going to start my card at Justin Thomas, JT at 22-1. It's a little short for my liking because of his struggles off the tee lately, but if you look at good drives gained, he's still in the top 10 in this field. If you're looking at fairways gained, he's 46th. So there's a big difference between how you measure what good tee shots look like. Last week you wanted fairways gained because hardly anybody was hitting driver off the tee at the Wyndham. On this course, you're going to see a lot of drivers. You're going to see 3-woods. You're not going to see a lot of chopped off shots. You're going to be wanting to hit driver in the fairway. And Justin Thomas has been pretty good overall at putting himself in position for birdie looks on approach. And that's where his bacon is made every year of his career. Justin Thomas on approach is nails, and he's one of the best scramblers on the tour. Justin Thomas 22-1 is where I'm going to start. And it's also going to include Patrick Cantley at 35-1, which I didn't think I was going to be interested in Cantley this week, but he's number one in my model, and 35-1 is pretty darn good. So I think I will take the bait at Patrick Cantley and hope that he does anything this week, unlike the rest of this season. And then Sam Burns at 40-1. Sam Burns 40-1, best putter in this field. Annihilates Bermuda greens. He's so good at making birdies on these courses. The exact parameters of this golf course and this event, it just screams Sam Burns to me. So he's going to get a pretty aggressive investment at 40-1.
Yeah, Sam Burns was fifth here at TPC Southwind last year, second in 2021, but he's finished 47th or worse in each of his last three events. I do wonder if he's hit a wall, Bo. So I think I'll let you find out on that one. I don't know if I'm going to be with you on Sam Burns. With Cantley, I'm curious, is his push, I mean, he is on the bubble for a Ryder Cup spot. Is that part of it? Like, he has to play well in the playoffs, I think, to get in, or he might get passed by the Ben Griffins and Chris Gotterups and Cameron Youngs.
He's a guy that's also played well on firm, fast golf courses that are in this kind of Bermuda setup. He's struggled on bent grass. He struggled on your Poana surfaces. He struggled on fescue, of course, but he's top 5 in pretty much every stat category with how I filtered it. Top 5 in every single category. So yes, he has all the motivation in the world. to do well in the playoffs and get onto that Ryder Cup team, and or at least solidify his spot on that team. But I think he's got a chance to win here. He's starting to turn his game around the last couple months. Nothing noteworthy in results category, but I think that it's just too good of a guy to ignore at 35-1.
Yeah, you mentioned JT. When I mentioned recent winners at the FedEx St. Jude, I cut it off right before we got to Justin Thomas back in 2020 when he won. He hasn't recorded a top 10 in his last 3 trips to TP Southwind. And yeah, as you said, I mean, he's 161st in driving accuracy. And by the way, just ahead of him, 160th in driving accuracy, Xander Schauffele. So
Yeah.
he did finish top 10 at the Scottish Open and the Open Championship last month, and was second at the FedEx St. Jude Championship last year. But yeah, the 160th in driving accuracy, not great, nor is the 132nd ranking in strokes gained putting for Xander. What do you make of Oberg, Bo? He's had a kind of an up and down season, but he did play pretty well in the Scottish Open and Open Championship. He was 40th last year in the FedEx St. Jude. That was his debut in this event. Is he a value at 28-1 or no?
I think he's the opposite of a value. I think he's completely inflated. With how I modeled him, he's 48th out of 70 in my model, and he's not in the top 10 in any category. 0. This is a player who's struggled immensely with mid-iron approach, which is completely opposite of what he did in his big season last year. Off the tee, he's been a little erratic, and his short game has not improved. He's 59th in this field for scrambling. I am completely off Oberg. I wouldn't even bet him if he was at 50-1. I think this is going to be a struggle tournament for Ludvig Aberg. Despite the talent, I think his game is in a really bad place right now for the playoffs to start. I could be wrong, but I'm not anywhere near him.
Yeah, you mentioned those approach shots. So I said the average approach shot on this course was 160 yards, and there are a lot of approach shots on this course that come from that 150 to 175 yard range.
Yes.
Viktor Hovland finished second last year in this event, and he certainly has the sort of ball striking profile we're looking for. Oh, by the way, he is
Yeah,
second in strokes gained on approach shots from 150 to 175 yards, and
he
second
is.
second on strokes gained on approach overall.
Mm-hmm.
So Hovland intrigues me here. You know, the short game is always an adventure with Viktor Hovland, but the ball
I'm pretty sure
striking is,
he owns this course too. That the way he's played here over the years.
he has played it well. Russell Henley, Bo, hasn't played much lately, but he has 4 straight top 10s dating all the way back to the Memorial in late May. He's only played 4 tournaments dating back to the Memorial. Henley finished 6th in this event 2 years ago. And as we've mentioned on the show many times, Henley tends to do his best work on courses with Bermuda greens. Any interest in Matt Fitzpatrick? Top 10 in 4 straight events, top 10 in this event 3 of the last 6 years.
No thanks. He's done it 2 links courses followed by 2 courses with very lackluster fields, strength fields. He's in the big boy waters now this week, and his short game's just not good enough here. He's a good chipper, but his putting's not that great. He's off the tee. He's been all over the place. I like him, but in this field, he's just kind of middle of the pack, hanging around, and maybe a top 20 bet. I don't think he cracks the top 10 here this week. But you mentioned a couple guys that I'm interested in. Viktor Hovland, of course. Everybody's gonna be on Hovland this week for good reason. He's won here twice, and he's been top 5 every other time except for one miscut kind of wedged in there. That's a horse for the course. We do have some predictability with this tournament being at this golf course every year for the playoffs, and Viktor Hovland in the playoffs tends to be a different animal altogether. So I will be watching that line. I'm not in on him yet, but the approach numbers are undeniable, and he's just going to put himself in so many scoring opportunities. The question will be, can he convert them, and can he avoid the big number when he inevitably gets in trouble off the tee?
And 2 players I would warn people about investing in: Hideki Matsuyama, who did win here last year and was runner-up in 2021. His strokes gain stats at TPC Southwind are pretty strong, but he's had kind of a lackluster season by his standards. Maybe he's pulling it together. He's finished 13th, 16th, and 19th in his last 3 events. I just don't think he's ready to win against a strong field. And Keegan Bradley, for as fine a season as he's having, he did miss the cut at the Wyndham, and he has been bad at TPC Southwind, finishing 43rd or worse in his last 5 trips. And his strokes gain stats on this course are like worst in the field, among the worst in the field.
It's bad.
Let's look at more of the odds. At plus 4,500 are Chris Gotterup, Jordan Spieth, JJ Spawn, Robert MacIntyre, Harry Hall, and Daniel Berger. At plus 5,000, we have Wyndham Clark, Shane Lowry, and Maverick McNeely. Aaron Rai and Jake Knapp are plus 5,500. Jason Day is plus 6,000. Akshay Bhatia, Kurt Kitayama, and Denny McCarthy are plus 6,500. Taylor Pendrith and Max Grazerman are plus 7,000. And at plus 8,000 are Brian Harman, Lucas Glover, Justin Rose, JT Poston, Ricky Fowler, and Nick Taylor. Do you like any of these mid-range options, Bo?
I mean, as crazy as it sounds, I like Wyndham Clark this week. Wyndham Clark has been a ball-striking dynamo this last couple weeks. I think he's starting to figure it out again, and this is the best putter on Bermuda in this field. That's a red-hot golfer who has had his trials this season. Let's just say his anger has gotten the best of him multiple times. But since then, he's turned his game around, and now he's number 4 in my model. And the only place that I'm showing him not looking that great is on the shorter approach bucket, 125 to 150. But on the 150 to 175 and the 175 plus, he's great. And he's obviously the best putter on Bermuda. So he also top 10 in par 4 scoring. He's been really good at getting good drives off the tee lately. That's the last 24 rounds. Number 3 in this field, and birdies are better gained. Wyndham Clark at 55 to 1 is an extreme value. I thought he would be somewhere around 40. 55 to 1 on him is great. And then Nick Taylor. It seems to be when the courses get fast and they're not too long, and accuracy seems to be the premium. This is a Nick Taylor type of golf course. This is a lot like a Windsor course that they played a couple years ago when he made that bomb. This is a very similar golf course, except this is a little faster even. I think that Nick Taylor 80 to 1 is a really nice value too. Those are the 2 guys I have highlighted in this middle price.
Yeah, Chris Gotterup comes in red hot after a fabulous July in which he won the Scottish Open, finished 3rd at the Open Championship, finished 10th at the 3M. This will be his FedEx St. Jude Championship debut. The downside is that he can be wayward off the tee, and he is barely inside the top 100 in strokes gained and approach this year. I'm kind of mildly interested in Robert MacIntyre, just really solid off the tee and with his irons. He's finished top 15 in his last 2 trips here. But if you want a horse for the course, let me throw 2 names out there, Bo. Daniel Berger, fabulous track record at TPC Southwind. He had back-to-back wins here in 2016, 2017. He was 2nd here in 2020, 5th here in 2021, which was his last FedEx St. Jude appearance. Berger's strokes gained, tee to green, and strokes gained and approach numbers at TPC Southwind are fantastic. Best in the field. And Lucas Glover is actually a horse for the course. He won here in 2023, 3rd in 2022, and he's played pretty well the last couple of months. 9th at the Travelers, 5th at the John Deere, 23rd at the Open Championship. Glover's very accurate off the tee and strong with his irons. All right, Bo, there are 28 players in this 69-man field with odds of 90 to 1 or longer. Are any of them worth a flyer?
I'll take a little shot on Siwoo Kim, a very accurate player off the tee. He's not going to hurt himself. His putting has been atrocious, but he seems to do a little bit better on Bermuda. It seems like if you get Siwoo Kim into a groove with the putter, if he sees a couple go down on Thursday, we're in business. But if he doesn't, then that's it. It's baked into 90 to 1. Chris Kirk is a horse for this course, 100 to 1. He's just metrically looking great. Chris Kirk is a stat darling, and at 100 to 1, I'm kind of looking for that. I'm looking for those stat darlings. That number 2 in this field in opportunities gained, number 2 in that shorter approach bucket. He's number 15 at worst in any of those approach buckets. He's doing really good on approach this season. Very bad putter. That's the one thing about Chris Kirk that worries me here, but he's going to give himself chances to make birdies. Another guy who is priced accordingly to just struggling with the flat stick this year. It seems to be like they can get there off the tee. Siwoo and Kirk get there off the tee. They're good on approach, and then nothing's going down this season. But those could both change. These are smaller greens, so if they're on with their irons, they're not going to look at too many long putts for birdie. If the opportunities are there, they have a chance to make them.
I was just going to say, Bo, on a course with smaller greens, maybe I'm a little bit more willing to bet on suspect putters.
Yeah, like Lucas Glover.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of it, because you're going to be looking at shorter putts. So and Chris Kirk does come in with some momentum too. He's 14th, was 14th at the 3M Open 2 weeks ago, 5th at the Wyndham last week. He's finished top 20 in 2 of his last 4 trips to TPC Southwind. Okay, Bo, who do you have on your early betting card?
So I have Justin Thomas at 22-1, Patrick Cantley at 35-1, Sam Burns at 40-1, Wyndham Clark at 55, Nick Taylor at 80, Siwoo Kim at 90, and Chris Kirk at 100.
All right, I am betting Viktor Hovland at 30-1 and Russell Henley at 30-1. I'm betting Daniel Berger at 45-1, also betting him for a top 5 at plus 650. Lucas Glover, I'm going to bet these horses for courses, Bo. Lucas Glover 80-1, and I like the top 5 kicker on him at 11-1, and I'm betting Chris Kirk at 100-1. Now for our one and done picks, there was no blood last week. The first time all year. Bo had Keegan Bradley, Captain America, missed the cut. I had Akshay Bhatia, who was going to miss the cut, but withdrew with a few holes left to play on Friday. Just 2 weeks for me to close a $1 million gap on you, Bo, but this is a big money event. I'm up first. I'm taking Viktor Hovland. Who are you?
All right, Viktor Hovland. So I had a problem where I took all the top guys out of the field here, and I've already used pretty much everybody here, but I'm going to take, this is controversial because it's not that far up, Patrick Cantley. Oh, no, I already used Cantley too. Man, I'm going to use Wyndham Clark then.
Wyndham Clark it is. Wyndham Clark for Bo, Viktor Hovland for me. And that's all for this week's Betting Pros PGA podcast. Please join us again next week when we will be previewing the penultimate event of the season, the BMW Championship. Until then, so long, everyone.